Hello, hello, TMT peers. How are you guys doing? It is May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. John, how's it going in Austin,
It's
Texas?
it's going good. I am, in Texas, there is definitely a lot of Cinco de Mayo love normally, but since we're all stay-at-home quarantined, I have yet to see a single sombrero or anything else, but I am having Mexican food for dinner, so I'm celebrating the only way we know how here with margaritas.
In
Um,
Austin, not
yeah,
not
doing
in
good.
Amsterdam. Hope you guys are having a great week. I know it's been a really busy one for me today. I had a virtual presentation at 9:30 this morning, and now it's 10 p.m. So we're
Woo.
we're having a marathon day, and it's fun. I'm actually not that tired, so you know you love what you do when that is the case. Excited to check back in with you guys. Just a couple of quick updates. First off, I hope you enjoyed the messenger trainings from last Thursday. John, something I wanted to bring up to you. Can we please also add Natasha's bot presentation from Smart Traffic Live to that section? That was one more that I wanted you guys to see. If you want to dive deeper in the messenger stuff, I've had a few of you guys reach out and say that you really enjoyed that module. So that makes me happy. That's definitely not a topic for everybody, but my messenger and SMS lovers, I'm glad you enjoyed that. And yesterday, if you haven't already seen it on Ezra's forward facing Facebook page, his brand Facebook page, and also on mine, I believe it was double posted. We did a 90-minute training, free training, just for the whole marketing community about Facebook policy. So I went deep into how to make sure that you're following the rules, what to do if an ad is deactivated, which that was inspired by you, Michael Sampson, that part of the training, because you specifically asked me that question and made me think of that. What to do if your ad account is deactivated, and then how to prevent your account from being deactivated. And we talked about the different levels of getting shut down. Sometimes it's your personal account. Anyways, I know that that's a topic that a lot of you guys are interested in, so we're going to add that to the bonus area of your members area. And until then, just know that you can watch that on Ezra's Facebook page or my Facebook page. That Facebook Live just turns into a video there. And I thought it was pretty good. We got great feedback. So I actually know Taban, I don't think I'm saying your name correctly, but we have a TMTP student that I'm pretty sure is live on the call right now, who followed the directions that I gave in the first video. So I know that I shot you guys like a 10-minute video a few weeks ago. Well, I took that video to 90 minutes yesterday, which was just went way deeper. But he took that initial information and was able to get his ad account back last week, which is really exciting. So just so you know that that's there. And also, we are adding something special for you guys that we have never done before. And so this Thursday, the topic of this week, as most of you guys know, is YouTube advertising. And so we already have a recorded training that's awesome with Tom Breeze about YouTube advertising, but we're going to add something extra and special for you. So this Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, so this is actually 5 hours earlier than we would normally meet, but this is what worked with Tom's schedule because he's in the UK. We are going to do a live webinar with you guys. And what this will be is him actually walking me through. We're going to take an offer, a front end offer that's working for Smart Marketer right now, and he's going to show me exactly how to scale that out on YouTube, which I don't have a lot of experience in YouTube. So I'm actually going to be in Smart Marketer's YouTube account. He's going to tell me which buttons to press. Of course, we're going to talk strategy and what matters, right? I guess, and kind of why we're doing it and how to think about it. And of course, the targeting, the creative, the copy, all of that. So that will be live. And of course, we will record that. And like I said, it's something we've never done before. So let us know what you think of it, because we might be able to do even more of these in future TMTPs. Your all's feedback allows us to make the course better for future people. So that is happening this Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. New York time. We're going to send you guys an email in the morning about that, or sometime tomorrow. So you'll receive an email reminder to register for that training with Tom Breeze. So I think those are all of the updates that we have, John, before we dive into questions, unless I'm missing something.
Well, I have two things I'm just going to tack on very quickly, but I'm very excited about the Tom Breeze thing. So don't let this in anyone's mind. Forget about that. That's the more fun and cool thing. But I know you had talked, Molly, about giving people access to the ambassador course.
Yes.
And it is still in the works and in the plan. Someone reached out to support, so I just wanted to address it very quickly. We gave the members of Ezra's Blue Ribbon Mastermind program like super beta access. So before everything had really been kind of set up, all the kinks were out, it was just like the raw videos. And so I think we're going to be opening that course up not next week, but the week after for people to buy. And so sometime next week, for all of you TMTPers, you should be getting access to that training, because we'll have finished getting in the video descriptions and getting everything titled properly and all that. So it is still
Yeah.
coming. It'll be next week. We just needed to make sure that it was up to snuff, right? The Blue Ribbon folks sort of do
Go through.
some beta testing for us, but
And guys, again, that program, it's called Ambassador Blueprint. That is Laura and Ezra going through how they've built the ambassador program at Boom that allows them to get all of that awesome user-generated content that you see them using for their ad creative and a lot of their ad copies. So when you see us selling that, do not buy it. You get it for free, and we will remind you. So don't purchase Ambassador Blueprint when you see it. Okay, cool, John. Thank you so much. Are we ready to dive into questions?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So, okay, these were actual. This one looks like you just knocked this out, John.
Yep.
Okay, well, that is a nice little surprise. Okay, moving on. Alrighty. So Arsh, how you doing, buddy? Probably not pronouncing that correctly, but I try. I'm from Kentucky, and we're not the best with words sometimes or pronunciation. But should ads in our retargeting funnel look similar to our prospecting ads, specifically for the ad concepts for people that land on our homepage but don't go to our product pages? If we're aiming to drive them back to our product pages and position the product, they seem really similar. If so, then should we follow similar copy structures? Okay, this is a great question. And it's something that we all face, especially that, let's call it lukewarm traffic, like the traffic that's not cold, like they visited your website before, or even they've just engaged with you on Facebook, or maybe they're on your email list but they haven't quite purchased, but they're not like warm traffic. That's kind of what I'm imagining right now. And Joe left a comment that she usually keeps retargeting ads much simpler and shorter. And I think you see that as a common theme. And especially for me, as I get deeper in the funnel, you do see much shorter copy that's straight to the point, because they've already built a relationship with us. We've already hooked them in with some sort of conversation, entertainment, value. Like they know that the consumer knows that we can help them in some way, or we have something of value for them. So, especially deeper in the funnel, it's more about showing up and overcoming any barriers to entry possible to get them to take the next step that they haven't taken in your traffic system, in your customer journey. But as you're saying, like kind of this lukewarm traffic, it does get a little bit confusing. And so what I will say is that for those folks, it's okay to try some more traditional retargeting ads like you saw me show in the retargeting module and that Joe's talking about here. But I also do see value in testing ads that are very similar to cold traffic, but you're either changing the offer or you're either changing the hook. So if you think about it, let's take this example here. This person has come to your homepage, so they've shown that level of interest, but they haven't converted. So that might have meant, I mean, that could have meant a lot of different things. But the two variables that really matter the most here are the offer and the hook that you were using in your ad. And so maybe the hook resonated with them a little bit, or at least enough to catch their attention and say, hey, this thing is for me, or this thing could be for me, or it could solve this problem for me. But once they visit your page, they decide that for some reason that isn't the case. So one strategy here would be to retarget them with similar style ads that you're using to cold traffic, but just change the hook a little bit. So for example, with Boom, they're a great example of this. There are a few really important hooks that Boom uses: saving time, that they're animal friendly and there's no cruelty involved. I could list a few others, but and obviously most of the cold traffic ads that we're running are all about these 5 makeup tips and are all about giving value. But you'll also notice, especially in this lukewarm stage, is when you start to see things like the 10-minute makeup guide, right? A different pre-sale article, which is the second variable that you could change, which is your offer. And we used to do this a lot at Digital Marketer. So we would be running ads for example, our best lead magnet of all time, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I'm pretty sure that by a long haul, it was the Facebook ad template lead magnet, which they still
Yep.
use. And so that generated a high volume of very cheap leads because it's a topic that most digital marketers are interested in. But it didn't mean that that was the best converting funnel for us when it comes to actually converting these people into customers. So a lot of what we would do is use that lead magnet to get people into our ecosystem. Then we would start showing them other lead magnets that were similar, but that were a little bit different. So maybe we would talk about social media. Maybe we would talk about email marketing, right? So maybe we would either change the offer and talk about another lead magnet, or maybe we would change the hook a little bit to something that's similar but different enough that it might resonate with that person. So kind of went down a rabbit hole there, but I hope that makes sense. And I do understand that step in retargeting is a little bit confusing because they have shown interest, but there still is probably a lot more selling that you need to do. And I think it's important to keep in mind that it's not about just showing up with the same cold traffic ads that you already used. I mean, those might have worked to get their attention, but they didn't convert. And of course, something could have popped up, like maybe their kids started crying, and so they had to walk away from the computer. Or maybe they lost connection, or I mean, there are lots of reasons that people abandon a page or don't take the next step in the funnel right in that moment. Maybe they're waiting to get paid. I mean, there's so many variables, but if you are able to show up with different offers, different pre-sale articles, different hooks, that is going to work wonders for you, and it'll capture sort of a wider net of people to move them to the next step in your traffic system. So nice, I pronounced it right. That is a win, and I'm glad that that is helpful. So thank you for asking that question. Okay, up next is Eric. My partner and I have launched an online 6-day resilience summit with a bunch of big names. That is exciting. Congratulations. We're hoping to hit 50 to 100,000 registrants. We already have 10 sponsors and affiliates agreeing to share it. That's awesome. We'd also like a fun Facebook campaign. Would it be a conversion campaign to the thank you? Okay, absolutely. So you are going to something that looks like it's lead gen, and this is really similar. Okay, yeah, so they're gonna opt in here. You are doing exactly what I do with my docuseries clients. And John, if we can, and I could get it from Dropbox after this, if you remind me, I've got, what would you say, John, 4 or 5 videos at least walking through campaigns for docuseries. I've got one on wine, keto, health, Christianity. That's exactly how you want to set this up. Super easy. optimizing for conversions, and you want to optimize for the custom conversion, which is the thank you page that they hit after they register for this. And of course, all of this is focused on lead gen, as you're understanding here, because that's what you expressed in your goal. So yeah, I think the best thing is just for you to watch one or a few of these videos and just see exactly how we set this up, because I set up campaigns exactly like this. And actually as recent as last month, and I talked about this in my presentation today, so let me pull this up for you because it might be helpful for others too. So this docuseries that I'm about to show you is The Keto Woman. And like I said, same thing that you were doing. We generated 30,000 leads at $1.33 a piece. I was really pumped with that, pumped for that. Sorry guys, it's been a long day and I feel like I'm stumbling on my words, but I know it's getting out. We ran this for 12 days. Of course, this was an info play, but we were also selling supplements on the back, just in case you were curious. Completely cold traffic. And like I said, we were optimizing for conversions, and we set up a custom event on that thank you page. So not sure why that's not working. This is just a little preview of the page. There is much more to it, but just to show you how similar this is to what you're doing. So because I had had experience with this before, I actually did all of this with 2 CBO campaigns, each with 4 ad sets in each. All of the ad sets, all 8 ad sets have different targeting, different interest targeting. So that is how they are different. And you can see they all worked very well. We were very happy with how this campaign performed. 30,000 leads, 76,000 link clicks, which is probably, you know, I would say 50 to 60,000 unique link clicks. So this page converted pretty well, around 50% if I had to guess. So I was really happy with that too. Keep in mind that for something like this, Eric, that page conversion rate is so key, because if the page conversion rate would have been 10%, my lead cost would have looked much, much different. So that's so important. And of course, you want to go super deep on the interests. And I've talked to you guys a lot about, you know, these keto and health interests that I use, but, you know, healthy recipes, weight loss. Of course, you want to do this for your market. And in each ad set, we had 2 ads, and I would have actually had more like 4 to 6 ads, but this is in the health space, which is so tough with policy. So we have to keep it short, sweet, and simple. It's why the ad copy sucks too, honestly. But it's such a good offer, and her stuff gets such great social proof. And you know, we're able to put it in front of the right people. So this is exactly how I would set yours up. And again, just watch those videos. You said, I have 1 ad running to 5 cold audiences and 1 warm, getting 40 cents registrants. You used a lot of the Gabby targeting. That's awesome. That was exactly what I was thinking. So your ads running now, I mean, that's super cheap. That's amazing. I do think that you're going to need a few more ads to throw into the mix to scale. If you want to get to 50 to 100,000, I don't know exactly what your time frame is. You know, generally, I think, John, our best launch, we generated what, like 150,000 leads, maybe something crazy like that.
It was really
And
high.
I think it took us 3 weeks to do that. We could have done it a bit quicker, but it took us about 3 weeks. So anyways, just thinking about scale and amounts of time, I would definitely use CBO for this, because you need results. Like, this is CBO's best friend, because data comes in so quickly, leads happen so fast. So yeah, Eric, hopefully that is helpful, and I wish you luck on that. Really excited for you. Okay, so next up is Sebastian. Hey, buddy. He says, we set up retargeting for one of our supplements. Now we would like to know if our setup is sensible. We want to show the same person a different ad every 3 days, and the person is not a buyer. Do we have 2 questions? Is that sensible? Is the setup, the retargeting group, okay the way it is? Another question, when judging a campaign for increasing, should we have a look at the last 7 or 14 days or the entire lifetime? So in terms of the last one, it really depends. I mean, there are some situations where we'll look at lifetime. There are some situations where we'll look at last 7. There are some where we're just looking at the last day or two. It depends on the longevity and tension of the campaign. If we're in the middle of a high volume, crazy launch, then I'm probably looking at the last day or two because I'm pivoting and making decisions in more of a timely manner. If we're running a campaign like, the Evergreen Lead Gen campaign I was talking about for the Facebook ad templates lead magnet at Digital Marketer, and I think that lead magnet probably generated over 400 or 500,000 leads within just a few years, which was pretty high volume in that market. And those campaigns ran for years. And so a lot of times, John, we would look at what, like a month's worth of data, 2 months worth of
Hmm.
data, because it's just such a bigger, longer, it's just a different situation. So yeah, it depends on what you're doing. And then in terms of retargeting, um, did you watch the retargeting module? If not, that might be helpful for you. A lot of when it comes down to retargeting, a lot of this has to do with audience size. So what you described here is definitely plausible, and you can set this up, and that would make sense, and you can do that. The only possible issue is that you're getting so granular of like 3, 6, 9 days. That might work for a brand like Boom that has such high website traffic that those audiences would still be, maybe 10, 20, 30,000 people. But for a lot of us, our website traffic is much smaller. And by making our audience sizes, by segmenting this deeply, let's call it, it makes our audience sizes so small, and that can really cause us to struggle with our retargeting. So I would encourage you to think of it in that way. And let me know if you have any further questions on that one. Okay, John, you got that you have that one to leave a comment on?
Yeah, I'll mark that down. Real quick before you jump to the next one, though, Eric just added a note to the one you had just discussed about the summit previously. He was just saying currently he's using ABO. Should he relaunch or duplicate?
I mean, don't change what's working for you right now, but anything new, like the name of the game for you right now, Eric, is new, it's scale. And so launch new CBO campaigns, sorry, horizontally scale. And when you do, use CBO, but don't feel like you have to change what you're doing with ABO right now.
Perfect.
And I was going to show you another example, Eric, but we'll just give you those videos. And I know I've used a lot of the docuseries as examples through TMTP too, but it's just, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what you're doing here. So really exciting. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm going to save this one for the overflow since it's about looking deeper into a page, and it looks like Joe's already given some feedback here. Okay, Susie, she says, woohoo, hi, I started my second Facebook campaign, exciting. This one is for Mother's Day, retargeting my store in the last 180 plus Facebook and Instagram, and I even figured out how to upload my email list. This is awesome, congrats. I'm just running it for reach and promoting a blog post that I wrote that gives you 5 steps for at-home spa for Mother's Day. I love that hook, that's awesome. $10 a day budget. The only thing I messed up is I forgot to put an end date on the campaign. Do I need to do that or just turn it off myself? Okay, so yeah, Joe already answered this, but the only time that you want an end date or to use something like lifetime budget is when you're running a campaign that you know is going to end at a certain time. So right now we're running a promotion for Smart Marketer, and we have scarcity ads that are running, and they will turn off at midnight on Thursday because that is when the promo ends. But for anything else, like something that's evergreen that you might want to keep on into perpetuity, definitely don't do that. You don't have to set an end date. So an at-home spa for Mother's Day. Thanks, Mom. So that sounds like your headline. We know you're probably not going out for brunch this Mother's Day, so maybe you'd like an at-home spa day instead, whether the kids and dad are home with you. So the only thing I would recommend, Susie, and you don't have to go back and change it now if it's fine, but I just worry that, sorry, go back to or go to the Facebook Live from yesterday on Facebook policy. And the policy that I talk about with personal attributes and asking open-ended questions, I worry that this might fall into that in the future. So just be a little bit careful and study up on that policy video. But I love this hook and this is great. So whether the kids and dad are home with you or coming in via FaceTime or Zoom, at home spa day is a perfect way to relax. And we've got what moms really want, need instructions, see 5 steps for a Mother's Day. So this was a little bit of an awkward transition, but I don't think it's a problem. I love how these feel pretty native, but you're still promoting your brand. So yeah, Susie, this looks awesome. I love that you're using this time to get helpful and relevant content in front of your audience. Yeah, I don't have much more feedback than that. I would just make sure you study that personal attributes part of policy and let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, so I think that I'm not sure if this is the same. Okay, I think that I'm missing some context that might be coming in another post.
I can take a look and see if there was another one from Susie that came in, but I think this might be a different business she's looking at.
Okay, Michael Sampson, did Facebook update the customer feedback score so it no longer shows negative feedback? The page used to show negative feedback as well as positive. So yeah, it's still showing negative as I checked it yesterday on that Facebook Live, Michael, and I know you went back and watched it, so you've probably already seen this. And I could definitely see at least Boom's negative feedback. Let me double check that it's still there. So yeah, score is high, opportunities to improve. So is this what you're talking about? Like where you're getting the negative feedback there? Let me know if I'm missing something. You said, here's what my page looks like. We've always had a feedback score of 5, but we used to have a negative feedback tab showing, oh, the tab there. Yeah, not quite sure about that. It never gave us useful info. It always had something silly like, yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that they just moved this section down here and there's just not any navigation. So I don't think there's anything wrong there, Michael, and congrats with your perfect score show off. I'm just kidding. That's awesome. It shows that you're giving a great experience for customers. So really cool. And I've talked about the customer feedback score a lot in TMTP, guys. And if you want more information about it, I talked about it, Ezra and I talked about it a little bit more on the Facebook Live yesterday too. Okay, so John, I think I found what was up here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so it looks like this got sorted, an issue with policy. So Susie, all of this, like, should you request, should you duplicate, what should you do? This is in the Facebook Live from yesterday. I walked through all of that. You said, I gave this some more thought, and I think that what was attracting people to the finger images was that you could see the anxiety taken out on the hand, because she was saying that she thinks that's why the ad was disapproved. You went back to look for images that would show anxiety. Here's the revised PDF. Okay. Okay, cool. This has been approved, which is awesome. Okay, yeah, I don't see Facebook disapproving these. I think these are great. I think if you can even get them a little more native if possible, meaning take a picture on your iPhone of someone you actually know, that would be great eventually. But these definitely say anxiety, worry to me, and I think they'll be totally fine with policy. So great pivot there, Susie. And I think that Facebook Live will definitely help you step by step moving forward if you face any issues with this again, which I hope you don't. All right, Ben is up next. How's it going, Ben? I know I always say this, but your stack of pancakes makes me hungry. Um, Hiring a full-time copywriter. Awesome. Need advice, please. This is not Facebook ad specific, except I'll probably be using Facebook ads to fill my hiring funnel, but I'm hoping some smart people in here could give me some advice. And yeah, I mean, rarely would you ever hire someone just for Facebook ads. Like you got to think about copywriting too, when possible, as um, well, I'll get into that. Let me read what you've got here. In our business lately, I've been spending a fair amount of time either writing or reviewing copy. Yeah, it's very time consuming. Even after we hired a Klaviyo firm to revamp and run our email marketing, it's eating at my time, and we've decided to hire someone full time. My thoughts are, with unemployment high, there's probably a fair amount of talent. People may have gotten a taste of work from home and want to continue. I'm calling this position customer engagement and content specialist to give it a little flair. Love it. Write and manage Klaviyo email campaigns, write Amazon, Shopify product descriptions. There would be training through various courses like TMCP. Love it. Molly, you're probably not had a lot of copywriters come through Digital Marketer. Ezra's hired a few. Yes. Okay, this is a really good one. And Ben, I'm going to save this for the overflow because I have a lot to say about this. I even have some job descriptions I'm pretty sure that I've used in the past that I can give you. John, this was an experience you and I went through at Digital Marketer hiring hiring Neil, who now works with us at Smart Marketer on contract work. And Boom just hired another copywriter. Yeah, this is a rabbit hole, and I will save this for the overflow. John, this is also one, if you don't mind, to please put in Slack to
Hmm.
see if Sarah has any aspect of this that he could weigh in on, because especially from the ecom perspective. But I'll weigh in
Oh,
on um, the hiring process and things like that. Cool. I'm excited for you, Ben. And John, if you don't mind, to also tag Neil here. He's not for hire in terms of a full-time position like this, but he probably would be able to give some great advice on where to find people like him and any other copywriters that might be able to to also, I think Laura Gale would be great. I don't know if Laura's in the group, John.
I'll tag Neil and her if in it, and if she's not, I'm friends with her. Yeah, you invite her, so I can do that. So
Yeah, she would be great too. Um, yeah, cool. I'll think more on that, Ben. Really good question. Okay, up next is Ann Woodman. Hey, Ann. I'm loving this course and I ran my first campaign ever. Awesome. I just stopped it yesterday as it was a Mother's Day gift offer and my shipping window is now closed. My goal was to return on ad spend, hoping to get 2 to 3 purchases for a $100 bracelet. I didn't get any purchases. However, after going through module 8, it looks like the ad wasn't terrible and in some ways it was successful. Yes, I think that it's always successful because you learn something, but we'll definitely look at it. Would love for me to take a look. After a week of running and watching modules, I decided to change the landing page, thinking maybe that was why the ad wasn't converting, and change the ad set to target more specific millennials. So there's a good amount. I'm going to save this for the overflow in the morning too, John, when my mind is clear, since we've got a good amount to dive into here. So thanks for understanding that. But I'm glad you ran this campaign. It's okay. I would say that almost none of us are successful on our first try, and that's usually still the case for me. The fact that you collected data and that you launched the campaign, and that you got it out there is a huge win, and we will figure out how to move forward for sure.
got it.
Okay, up next is Eric. Sorry, John, were you going to say something?
No, just telling you that I got it for the overflow list, so you are good to keep going.
All right, Eric. Oh boy, needing some help from John Grimshaw, calling in the the cram dog. That's your nickname. I almost refrained, John. Sorry. Having, oh goodness, having trouble tracking dynamic pricing. We're offering pay what you can pricing for a virtual summit resource package, and there are not purchase stats going into the Facebook pixel. I usually place a specific value into the tracking code, but with the dynamic code, nothing is coming in. Not being sure I place the dynamic code on both the checkout page and thank you page. Any
So,
thoughts?
yeah, I got some thoughts. I mean, with these technical things, it varies so much by what your payment platform is. For example, with Infusionsoft, I have to basically DIY passing all of these variables to the thank you page. Like you just manually make them up and stick them in there, and they're hard coded. So you couldn't do anything dynamic with that. With Shopify, on the other hand, it auto appends all of this stuff, and so you don't ever really get in and get your hands dirty setting this up. So just so you know, there's a range, and it varies tool to tool. But what I suspect the best solution is going to be is you need to make sure that the page that is firing off the Facebook purchase event, which should be your thank you page, has the dynamic value for the price being created, and you have your purchase event correctly set up to pull that in. So you can set that up in Tag Manager, and I'll post a screenshot on this for you about what that might look like. And you just want to make sure that you have the correct structure for the way you're setting up your Facebook purchase event, because it pulls in different variables and you have to make sure you're sending multiple data points. So it does include price. I believe it includes order ID and product name. And if you don't have at least those three, Facebook doesn't pick it up at all. So probably the issue is that you're leaving one of the data points out that Facebook requires. But otherwise, it may be a issue with you having the variable like slightly misnamed. So let me just have that question open so I can make sure I can do that. But I will, oh, it's a Kartra. Okay, well, I haven't used Kartra specifically, but I can just show you how I would set this up in Google Tag Manager to track. And it's the way that the Facebook purchase event is set up is pretty much platform agnostic. It's more like how you're getting the data that goes into Facebook is what's different. So you can mark that as mentally done on your list, Molly, and I'll get that posted in there in the next few minutes.
Awesome. All right, up next is Michael Sampson. What's up, buddy? Scaling question for you. I've got to say this is quite possibly the best problem I've had so far on Facebook account thanks to TMTP. Awesome. Good to hear. And I'm glad that you're getting great results because of TMTP. Our main cold traffic campaign is a CBO with 2 ad sets and a combined audience size of 10 million. It's the first CBO we were able to really scale, and today's budget increase is up to 7.5 thousand. Awesome. However, we found some other really great interest groups, and we even found that no targeting is working well. Awesome. Of course it is with the, where you are in scale. But we're really scared to scale them up as we're worried about auction overlap eventually catching up on our big CBO campaign that has 2 ad sets. It seems like best practice would be to dump the new audiences into the big budget CBO the next time we crank up the budget so that we can have all cold traffic inside of one CBO. I wouldn't do that. So the worst thing you could do is touch what's working in that initial CBO. So what would Molly do? That would hurt you way, way, way more than any sort of overlap. Facebook is aware of the overlap, and especially at these audience sizes, overlap is not going to be a huge, huge issue. I mean, you even think about, I've showed you guys this campaign a lot, but this campaign that Boom ran, 1.5 million spent, 2.8 million in return. This campaign, it ran for 4 months. It was at like 30K a day at its prime. What's interesting is that campaign, so what Boris was doing is going in and adding new ad sets to a CBO. What you're talking about is going in and adding interest to existing ad sets, which I definitely would not do. It'll reset everything. What Boris does is he adds new ad sets to CBO, which I don't love. You guys know that I like to put them in their own campaigns. But either way, you guys please put them in your own campaigns if you can. The moral of the story, what I'm trying to get across is that to get to this volume of scale that I just described with Boom, we went through 39 ad sets. So whether those were going to be in the same CBO and just adding new ad sets, or a new CBO again, which you should do, 39 ad sets. And I know that a lot of those interests, I've showed you Boom's list, right? The top 7 ad sets were all interest based. The top ad set was their lookalike cluster, but then the next top 6 ad sets were all interest based, which was really cool. And I would say out of the 39, 35 of the ad sets were interest based. And so you guys saw that list. There's a lot of overlap there. But honestly, I wouldn't worry about it for where you are now, Michael. But the only thing you want to do with the current CBO that you have with the 2 ad sets is increase or decrease the budget as you need, and add new ads into those ad sets, once a week if you can, to try to fight fatigue. Now, all of the new scaling you want to do those in separate CBO campaigns, and don't worry as much about overlap. Just use the rest, use the interest that you have. You already have an offer that's obviously converting really well. You're spending, 7.5 thousand on this campaign a day, which is awesome. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. That's exactly what I would do. What would Molly do? That's exactly what I would do. And I'm really excited for you. That makes my day. So keep us updated on that. Let me know if you have any further questions, if that makes sense. Okay, up next is Christy. Hey, Christy. I just turned off my cold campaigns because in the ad creative, there's a guarantee that they will receive their orders before Mother's Day, and that's not true anymore. I ran these campaigns from April 13th to May 2nd with an average return on ad spend of 1.6 with a budget of $20 a day. That's all I could afford, and I'm still learning and understanding Facebook ads. No, that's great. That's a good start. You had a positive return. That's something to celebrate, nothing to be embarrassed or sad about. Is there a way to make some changes on the ad copy and still have the same post ID? So you, John, let's pull up the John Loomer article on how to change the ad copy without resetting the social proof. There
Sure.
is a way for you to change the newsfeed text ad copy without resetting the social proof, but you can't change the creative without resetting the social proof. So yeah, that's an unfortunate part of it. What does it mean by at least having 50 conversions before Facebook can optimize for that campaign? So Facebook means that at the ad set level, but as I told you guys, that recommendation is really outdated. So Christy, that 50 conversion rule honestly isn't something that I would worry about. With 63 purchases, that's awesome. Like, you can definitely continue forward optimizing for purchases. So don't worry about that. Okay. Next up, we've got ad copy for review. Yeah, I'm going to save that for the overflow when my brain is completely fresh here. And then up next is Sadie. All right, about 4.5 days of ads in the books. There is a little inside joke there. I'm pretty sure this is about books, so that's funny. Here is what I'm seeing. If I understand this all correctly, people are definitely clicking, so I can afford to be patient and let things run for a full week. The comments I'm seeing make me skeptical, but I'm understanding Google Analytics right. We have 53 people visit the page where you download the lead magnet over this period. I did not see any visits for that page in the same period a week prior. So after I have a week's worth of data, can I turn off underperforming ads? So you don't want to do that, just ad sets. Well, let me look at what's going on here. So it looks like you're optimizing for link clicks. It looks like your cost per click is really cheap. It looks like your cost per landing page view is really low. So Sadie, my first question is, what's the goal of this campaign? It sounds like you're really wanting to generate leads here. So if so, where is that represented? Is that represented in Facebook Ads Manager at all? And moving forward, we can talk about these campaigns, but moving forward, I would definitely use the conversion objective and optimize for a custom conversion that's on the thank you page that people will visit immediately after they opt in for this lead magnet. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, from what I can see, all of this looks fantastic. I mean, this is cheap, 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 but it doesn't look like this is really like I don't have any data that actually informs me of the ultimate success metric that you're looking to measure here. So I can't really make any decisions until I know what that's looking like, if that makes sense. So, if you are able to look at that, or if for some reason you just want to make decisions off of, cost per link click or cost per landing page view would be the next metric that I might use. But I wouldn't turn off ads. We never really want to turn off ads. Remember, if you do want to turn off underperformers, it would be ad sets. Limit your geographical area to weed out areas that don't have tons of authors who publish in English. Comments make you raise your eyebrows. So yeah, if you feel like the area you're targeting isn't quality traffic, like I said, I usually go with the top 4 countries that I know has the highest quality buyers for my market if I can. If not, of course, it's going to be smaller because you might be restricted further. Launch a retargeting campaign. So yeah, I would definitely launch a retargeting campaign to everybody who's visiting this page but hasn't converted. And don't worry, you're not sounding stupid at all. And I know that you're putting in a lot of work. And you said into the putting individual weekly lessons together in the larger puzzle has been a huge struggle. I'm really sorry to hear that. Let me know how we can make it easier for you. We tried to build the course so that week by week the topics really build off of one another. But it sounds like you have something that it's at least getting a bit of interest here. My biggest thing would just be, what is the goal of this? It sounds like it's lead gen. Yeah, it's download the lead magnet. So if I were you, I would think about setting up a campaign, optimizing for conversions, optimizing for that custom conversion, so that, very similar to this keto campaign that I just showed you guys with the docuseries, we're getting people to opt in. So this is set up and optimized for this custom conversion that I named. And in here I can see number of leads, cost per lead, and these are the metrics for this type of campaign that I'm making those decisions based off of. So hopefully that's helpful. Do not feel stupid. There was a point in time where everybody on this call knew nothing about Facebook ads. And this can definitely be a complicated topic. So just keep moving forward, experience, and just continuing to do this stuff is what's going to make you better. So keep us informed, and thank you so much. Okay, it looks like that we're going to do some copy critique. So I'm going to save that one too, John. I'm getting, my energy is getting low. So thank you guys for understanding that. It's been a big, big day. Okay, Ricardo, if there was time today, I have a little question about chatbots, of course. There is an objective that is itself a messenger objective, but you can also send to messenger with the traffic objective. Among the 9 strategies we have seen, could they all be launched with messenger objective and traffic? What is the difference? I did not understand. Okay, yeah, great question. So the best way to describe this is that yes, both of them can be used when sending traffic in Facebook Messenger. So when you use the traffic objective, you would just change the destination to Messenger. When you use the messages objective, obviously the destination is Messenger. A lot of this has to do with inventory and actually how supply and demand works on the Facebook platform. We talked a lot about, how you're ranking in the auction sometimes is hugely affected by objective, because Facebook doesn't want a consumer to scroll through their feed and see ad after ad after ad of marketers who are all optimizing for the conversion objective, right? Because that would tell Facebook that, okay, these are going to be a lot of direct response asking people to buy something, right? Let's mix in some other objectives if possible to mix things up. And so that factors heavily into inventory and kind of what we're bidding on when we're entering this auction. So sometimes, for example, you can find much better and cheaper results by using the messages objective because it's a really underutilized objective. Not many marketers are utilizing Messenger, not many marketers use that objective, and sometimes you can get really cheap costs. So they both work for Messenger. Honestly, that's the best feedback I can give you. The only time it wouldn't is if you're using the comment to message growth tool, which I talked to you guys about. And in that case, I would use the page post engagement objective. That's the best one since the goal is to get comments on the post first, that then open into Messenger. But for anything else that you're doing, when Messenger is the destination, when you're wanting to send traffic from an ad into, directly into a message for someone to click on the ad and it to open in Messenger, traffic or messages would work. And my plan A is usually messages. And if for some reason that's not working, my plan B is usually traffic because that one tends to be a little bit more competitive. So hopefully that makes sense, Ricardo. And let me know if you want me to, I could probably even find an example, and Mackenzie Lieberman would be great on this topic too, John, but I think it's answered. Let me know if there's any more clarity that you're looking for, but great question.
Cool.
Okay.
We did have 2 questions come in through the chat box that maybe we can talk about really quick, and then we can wrap it up.
Awesome. Sounds great. And then I'll make sure to get to these tomorrow.
Sweet. So first one was from Federico, and he was wondering about how to phrase copy to stay within policy restrictions when he's talking about wellness and mental health.
Watch the Facebook Live on policy yesterday because we talked about this and I went into the area of policy that talks about health and also the area of policy that talks about sort of open-ended questions and how that can affect you complying with policy. So I would definitely check that out.
Awesome. And then the other one came from Vishal, who was saying he had a question about increasing the budget. So he said if there's a campaign with a return on ad spend of 1.8 in the lifetime and a return on ad spend of 0.09 in the last 7 days, would you increase the budget? So the return on ad spend has dipped significantly in the last 7 days versus lifetime.
Of course, like if I had more context, I might give you a different answer. But with just that amount of information, no, I would not scale that campaign. I would try to figure out why it had fatigued. I would really go through the optimization and troubleshooting process that I taught you guys and try to figure out why you feel that campaign has taken a dip and what you can do to fix it, / what new stuff you can launch to help overcome that fatigue and to replace that traffic that you've lost that's fatigued in that current campaign.
Cool. Okay. Well, that takes us to the end. So I wanted to throw one other piece of information out there, Molly. I know we talked about the session with Tom coming up this Thursday, which will be super fun. You guys will get an email about that tomorrow. And talked about the, what was I going to say? Talked about the Ambassador Blueprint course. But we will be sending out an email tomorrow afternoon, since we'll be sending out the Tom training in the morning, about submitting a testimonial. So, it's crazy to believe it, but we're actually on our 12th week of Train My Traffic Person, and we are getting close to the end. And I don't say that to scare you. We still have probably 6 or 7 sessions together. So don't worry. It's not like the information is about to go away, but we are starting to think about it. Oh, go ahead.
Just so you guys know, that's when the Q&A calls stop, I think in 7 weeks. And that's when this Facebook group will turn off commenting, but you guys will still have access to all of this info, and you'll still be able to log into your members areas for years to come. So the information, and I saw a post about this in the group, someone nervous, the information is going nowhere. Just, the access to ask us questions, that is what, of course, we have to put some sort of timeline on, or this would get crazy. So you guys will get a free month of Team Traffic, though, which is a Facebook group and a community very similar to TMTP. It's more on a monthly basis. So you guys will have that too after the next 6 weeks, which we added some bonus Q&As. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
add that in.
Good point, because you're right. I saw that post too. Yeah, so don't worry if you're not done, if you're not feeling like you're caught up, you have plenty of time, so don't get stressed. But we are starting to think about our fall Train My Traffic Person promotion, and something that is probably the best thing we can bring to the table for those is testimonials from current students. And so every class around this time, we ask you all to submit your personal story about how Train My Traffic Person has helped your business. Did it help you, grow and scale, bring new employees in? What was your experience? What did you like about it? We have some kind of questions to prompt you, but as an incentive, because it's always helpful to incentivize people to do stuff like this, we give away 3 one-hour one-on-one consulting sessions with Molly. So I just wanted to throw that out there, let you start kind of ruminating on what your testimonial might look like if you're interested in doing one for us. We would absolutely love it so much. Yeah, and if you guys fill one of those out, you'll get all the details about how to submit it tomorrow, but you'll be entered to win one of the 3 one-hour sessions with Molly. So great opportunity if you really want some hyper-focused feedback, want to chat a little bit about stuff that is more peripheral to marketing, not as paid traffic specific, all that. So putting the earworm in your head, look out for an email tomorrow with more details. And if you have questions about it, feel free to tag me in the group and I'll do my best to get them answered. So that's a lot of stuff on this session. Exciting to have another live call coming up this Thursday. You guys are going to have the ambassador course access next week and going to have that testimonial stuff moving. So very, very busy, even here in week 13 at this point. So thanks so much, Molly, for being on. It definitely sounds like your day was a little bit too full. So you had an amazing level of energy for doing the 12-hour talking day. I know that's tough. Any last thoughts from you before we go?
No, just appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for spending your time with us. I love seeing your progress, and we'll get caught up on anything unanswered in the morning. Thanks,
Cool.
John.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.